everyone, and live. We are live here from Guru Canggu. It's the 4th of August, and we are recording our podcast interview. Is one of the series that we are going to do it regarding and interviewing people that live in Bali. They did many things in Bali, and they have very interesting story to tell us. So I'm here with Mr. Francisco, my friend Francisco. That is my
Always Mr. It's just Francisco, man.
Hey Francisco.
Just
I'm
relax.
here with Francisco, my partner in crime in this project of
Yes.
podcast interview. And on my left, Indra, our friend Indra, and we are going to interview her about many things. Mainly, we're going to talk about her life. She was one of the many from Europe that at the time followed the hippie philosophy of peace and love and freedom. And then from Europe, they decide to go around the world to find themselves and to find the right way to live a beautiful life. And this trial brings her slowly to the east, and then she arrived in India. From India, then Indonesia, and from Java, the big island of Java, she ended up in Bali. And she's gonna tell us what she became and how
Yeah,
she lived her life.
I'm very curious because I know a little bit, but now we are going to unfold the reality of this outstanding movie story. So Indra, give us some juice about your experience when you started.
Well, I ran away at 17 to change the world because I could see that something had to absolutely be changed. I guess that's part of the hippie movement.
Yeah.
That we saw that we're living in industrialized world that was kind of suffocating us in our levels. So I ran away when I was 17 to change the world. And all by myself. My mom gave me a letter so that I could hitchhike by myself. I don't understand. I would have never done it for my daughter, but she did.
Wow.
So to put it in context, we are talking about Germany.
Yes.
Germany, and more to be precise, Berlin,
Yes.
West Berlin.
Yeah.
No, I ran away when I was in Stuttgart because
Stuttgart.
I grew up
Okay.
in Berlin and I had to
I
move.
knew that you have.
To Stuttgart.
Yeah.
So you come to the west side of Germany, yeah?
Yeah, Berlin.
Yeah.
And then I arrived in Stuttgart, which was absolutely, how you call it, more than conservative.
Yeah, you have Mercedes is there or something, all these factories and all
Well,
that.
that I discovered much later, but it felt very restricting after
Yeah.
coming from Berlin.
Okay.
So, I needed to change the world. So I went to England.
From there you went to England. Okay, got it. Yeah.
I met some kind of really cool bands, like the people who did hair.
Okay.
And then I met another guy. He was playing in a band called Quintessence, which
Okay.
was actually a kirtan rock and roll band,
Wow.
which I just now realized that I'm still doing the same thing.
You okay?
And
That's in London, yeah?
Yeah, so I stayed in London.
How long?
can you tell us
Half a year.
what year was?
What?
In what year?
In the year.
Oh,
5 years ago?
I was born 54 and I was 17, so that means 64, 71.
71.
71.
Whoa. I was a baby still, my God.
See?
And you're already rock and rolling, yeah?
And I even was a baby, we had
Yeah. So you were how old in London?
17.
17, yeah. Wow, teenage, sweet 17, okay.
Yeah. And I was getting the backstage ticket for all the festivals, and I was traveling with the group, and they were really nice.
Cool people.
They were cool people because a lot of girls my age, they had a really hard time because they get fucked backstage left and right, or forth and back. I
Yes.
don't know how you want to say it. But
And you were like already being somehow protected, yeah.
Well, because I ended up with these people that were
They are
having
cool.
some kind of a more responsible way of being with other people.
Yes, more aware.
Yeah,
Okay, that's beautiful.
yeah.
So from there,
From there, I realized that, I cannot change the world that fast. Plus, it became winter in London, very miserable. So I decided to go back to school and
Okay.
finish high school. But before, I went hitchhiking to Morocco.
this is
Easy.
70s.
Yeah, I was in the
Whoa.
Marrakesh Express.
Oh, okay. So you went to where in Morocco? To Marrakesh?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
by
we
train?
we went hitchhiking. We had no
Whoa.
money. I had, I think, 100 mark or 150
It
Deutsche
was
mark.
money. That was some money in Morocco. Yeah.
Well, I never made it. My money never made it to Morocco because I lost it at the beach in the last stretch of Gibraltar before we got to the ferry. So we actually ended up pretty,
Wow.
we ate at 8 rests and restaurants in Marrakesh. I mean, that was a quite cool scene,
Yeah.
We ended up meeting Peter Fonda, who was making a film
Whoa.
there. And we became like, how you call it, the backstage people?
Yes. Okay. As the movie was being rolled. Oh wow.
Yeah, so we made money. We had
Yeah.
food every day.
Oh, you were extra.
Yeah.
Like wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was my girlfriend and me.
That was. This is already 1 year after being in London, or
Yeah.
like
I was still 17.
17 still, and then.
And then I went back to school. Went
Okay.
to Berlin instead of living with my parents because actually I couldn't go back to my home anymore because my father was so angry that I ran away that I wasn't allowed to come home.
So when you say you were ready to change the world, it means that, I mean, at that time in Europe, the hippie philosophy of peace and love that was famous in California, in the United States, Woodstock was already be done. So in Europe, what was the perception of that style of life?
We were actually having country communes. We were living in a country commune, or we
Oh,
are
cool.
connecting in a country commune, and our idea was definitely to move back to, nature and grow our own food and be independent and support each other. Yeah.
So already those movements of Osho were happening, yeah, in Oregon in the 70s or
No, I think that was later.
later. This is really early 70s, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very early 70s.
People were aware of changing their lifestyle. They wanted really to feel something different connected with nature.
And if you can find few things that doesn't work, I mean, because if you went to the commune and then the commune is split, or what happened?
Well, we were
Yeah.
hippies, so we smoked a lot of dope. I remember.
Okay.
So I think this
It was an
kind.
experiment.
Yeah, it was an experiment, and it was kind of a part of being a hippie. That was part of our rebellion to do different things than
Experience
our
all the
parents.
things, yeah.
Yeah,
Free spirit.
free spirit. Yeah, one time my mother came to visit me with her granddaughter, my niece, and we had made these hush cookies. And my mom was so hungry, she ate a lot of cookies.
And she said, I want to stay here.
No, but it didn't start until she got
I
back
like
in the
this
train.
face. Wow.
Oh, now I understand. So this is already, you are a little bit older, yeah? Like 18 already, 19, like going that way.
Still 17, because by the time I was 18, I was back in school in Berlin.
Okay, you went back to the normal life.
Not normal life. We had actually a commune in Berlin. My mother had a house in Berlin.
Okay.
Or half of a house.
Okay.
Which in the end, so that's how she supported me. She rented it to me and my friends. And so we ended up, most of us going in the same school.
Okay.
So it was a great.
So you still go to school, but you were living as a commune.
Yeah.
Okay.
What
So it's
a
halfway.
wonderful time, eh?
Yeah.
Well, it's an amazing story.
Yeah, very much exploring.
So can I ask you regarding your, because we need to jump in time, yeah? Back in space, we are in Germany, you went Morocco, London, you had experience, commune
to
time.
school.
Now, what is the next step? How you decide to move out of Europe?
Well, by the time I finished high school, I went to study in Munich.
Okay.
Anthropology, history of arts. And I always had to make money because my father didn't give me money, my mother supported me slightly, but I always had to make extra money. So by the time I was in university, I was pretty good making money. I was working in a restaurant, and the first time in my life, I didn't have to hitchhike, because that's what I still was doing in my holidays, like hitchhiking to Greece, hitchhiking to France, exploring Mother Earth.
Yeah.
And so I could buy a ticket, and I flew to Sri Lanka.
Ooh,
Which
that's
was
the first one. Boom.
Which was quite a trip. Like I was like very nervous to go on the street, and because
You were alone? You went
yeah,
alone?
Yeah, I was. I mean, I don't know why it happened, but I was always by myself, and actually, I like that kind of.
Roughness and survived mode.
Who knows what it was? It was also like in big groups, things don't. They're too slow for me.
The commune moment had finished already. No.
So it's like commune in your mind, but you are flying through the Earthship alone, yeah?
Yeah, and you know what? Freedom is part of
Essence.
my life search and essence. So, and there are many forms of freedom.
Okay.
Because, you think freedom is freedom, but actually there's freedom from, and then what is freedom for each of us?
Mm-hmm.
So I think actually that was what I was looking for,
Feeling free.
feeling fucking free.
And you were feeling free in Sri Lanka.
Well, it was a challenge because, that I wasn't used to be, sorry to say, but people with different color. I was German.
And you were blonde and blue eyes.
All of that. So, but then, I was a bit nervous in my hotel, and then I went on the street and I realized how sweet these people were.
Yes.
And human to human.
They were cool.
Yeah. And then I ended up in Hikkaduwa, where all the hippies ended
So
up.
in Sri Lanka, I've been in Arugan Bay and the Kandy and that, so you didn't do the same. There was other places. Yeah.
Hikkaduwa was a little bit more hippie.
That's where, can you situate in
It's
Sri Lanka?
between Colombo and what's the town in the bottom?
I don't know. But I know Arugan Bay is on the
Goal.
east side.
Goal,
yeah?
exactly.
Goal, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Hikkaduwa is between Colombo and Goal.
So it's like a commune also for hippies, yeah? It was those days.
We had huts. We
Wow.
were living in straw huts.
Near the beach or?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there was surf. I started learning to surf.
Okay.
And, I met this fabulous Italian guy that I fell in love with, absolutely. And we were in that, in that straw
In the
hut.
hut on the beach.
And
Yeah,
it was just
well,
Living the life. Oh, mamma mia.
Yeah. And, we weren't alone. There was a bunch of us.
Yeah.
So it was always kind of this tribal feeling
Wow.
that I still like that tribal feeling.
Can I ask you, those days, it's important just to situate, how long would take your visa? So you could stay 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year?
Wow, I actually don't remember, but I remember I had to leave Sri Lanka at a certain time because my visa was finished,
expired, yeah.
and my boyfriend had to go back to Goa to fly back to Italy. So I went with him to Goa.
Ah, and then?
And then India arrived.
Oh my God, India is intensive at that day. I mean, I remember I was buying shoes, sandals, and I look up, and there was like hundreds of people.
Arjuna market, yeah?
No, it was not even Arjuna. It was somewhere on the road, and
Wow.
all these people, standing. How the Indians stand on one leg and the other leg like this, and staring at me. My God, all the sweat broke out of me. Anyway,
This is north of Goa, around there.
this is on the way from Sri Lanka to Goa.
Yeah, but you,
With
this,
buses, we went through Trivandrum,
Okay,
and all the
went
way
Kerala.
up to Kerala, and
okay.
Hampi.
Hampi. Okay. Oh, you went through Hampi.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah. So all the trek. I
So,
guess.
and then you could stay 6 months those days in India with a visa, I presume.
Yeah, but I didn't have enough time because I also thought
You need to go back.
I need to go back and study, and on my way back, so I had to go back to Sri Lanka all by myself because he had already gone.
Okay.
So it was a time where you were testing from Europe to the east and then back and
Yes,
and
exactly.
keeping study. And when really you decide that Europe was not too small for you or not good for your realization of your freedom, and then you decide to move east? When was the moment of, yes, I'm going?
Oh, I had been traveling a lot. I had been going to India forth and back. I was able to travel by myself because, you know, in India you have women's compartments in the train, women's waiting rooms in the train. I was always dressed correctly. I went in India, I went from sacred place to sacred place. I hung out with the sadhus. I learned a lot. I mean, I have to thank India for this deep insight. You know, I had dreams in these places. I understood a little bit more of.
Spirituality, you're called.
I don't
talking
even want to
about.
call it spirituality. I mean, I don't have. I have
Learning,
a,
yeah.
It's a sense of honesty in the air, yeah? It's naivety with honest, with spicy and rotten smell. It's like,
exactly everything mixed up.
and
you
we
know,
love it.
Life,
Yeah.
and you know,
And
being,
colors.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, after Forth and Back, I was with another man, and we ended up living in. He was Lebanese, and we lived in. We lived in Morocco
Wow.
to survive the winter because we were in Europe.
Europe winter you don't like.
Yeah,
you
it
know,
was already
Israel
finished
we-
with you.
is
No.
finished since long
No,
time.
no, and you know, I was super flexible, and I was realizing I needed some strength. I started, you know, Taekwondo, and then we met this guy in Munich. I don't know how, and he told us about this martial arts school in Indonesia. That was like a Chinese martial arts school, and you know, my dream always was to be a Shaolin warrior nun, but you know, I didn't want to go to China.
A warrior nun.
Yeah, warrior nun. You know, one of those girls that flies all around.
Yeah. Bad.
You do this amazing stuff in the air.
Yeah, like that.
And you decide to go to Java then?
Yes, with that boyfriend of mine,
How old you were those days?
maybe 24.
So already from 17, 7 years passed by with all these stories of Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
Now you are in Java and you are learning martial arts. What was the feeling of a hot blonde chick in the middle of these guys learning kicking ass?
Well, you know, you have this idea about hot blonde chick, but you know, it was a real traditional
A
training
dojo, like
dojo.
like dojo style.
Like we were not allowed to train for a long time.
Okay.
We had to sit at the side and watch them do the movements. And then the master slowly would tell somebody which movements we were allowed to do. So, I mean, I felt very grateful to have
serious.
met this old man, Sugu.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how long do you stay there? I mean, it was Java, where in Java?
Bogor,
Bogor, so Jakarta, near Jakarta.
near Jakarta, yeah. And
Wow.
the training
Up on the
place and the
mountain.
house was up in the mountain
Up
in
on the
Tugu.
mountain, yeah.
It's a real thing. You are like Shaolin style, yeah?
Yeah.
So what martial art were you learning? Like Silat? No.
Yeah.
Oh, Silat.
Yeah.
So the
Silat
Indonesian martial
Bangga
art.
Putih.
Yeah, yeah. Says
Which
that,
means white crane silat.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, which is a beautiful form. It has many different short movements, long movements, health movements, women's movement. It's a beautiful system which is still practiced.
Do you have still muscle memory of these days?
Amore.
Be careful. You are there. I'm here.
I see that.
That's why I said hot blonde chick, because they come to you. You are like, what? You're talking to me? So this takes like 1 year there? 6 months?
I was there for a few months, and I was going forth and back, or once in a while I would come to Bali to buy jewelry
To make business.
to send back to Europe, so I had some money.
Some money to survive,
You know.
So money is a really important issue in the equation for freedom.
No.
No. I know. I'm curious to know because it's something that I like to understand.
Yeah,
For you,
I'm
for
still
you.
learning. You know, I'm still learning, but you know, no, freedom. Money is not the basis for freedom. Definitely.
No, I say an important, let's
Tool
say,
to survive.
For sure, you have
You
to
cannot
survive.
survive without paying the bills.
Yeah, exactly.
So how you put, I think Marco what he's trying to ask is how
Thank
you put in the equation the freedom concept with the dependence
The need
of
of
having
money
to have
also,
money.
yeah.
So you need to work it out, yeah?
I don't think that has anything to do with freedom.
Okay.
You know, like you have to make money and you have to eat.
And you just flow.
Are you a prisoner because you have to eat?
Mm-hmm.
No, but you have to think about what you want to eat.
You can have
Yeah.
nasi goreng every day, but sometimes you can have a cappuccino.
Yeah, but what freedom
But
does...
if I want to be free, I mean, my mind at
let's
least.
see, it's a personal thing.
Ah, he's projecting his stuff. That's good. I'm your friend still. Come on. Love you. But I feel the same, not like him. I understand that money is not the main thing. And obviously, I've had so much money sometimes and I was so miserable. So it doesn't bring you happiness for sure. But
Okay.
you cannot, that's why I'm trying to connect you with Bali, because then you move to Bali, yeah?
Yeah.
And you start to live here, you start to do your life. And I was those days here. I was this hippie kind of feeling in Bali once you decided to move here after that martial art training.
Oh, it was amazing.
That was the moment.
I mean, you know, after having traveled so much, you know, arriving in Bali in the beginning of the 80s, I mean, it was an amazing place. You know, it was tribal. I mean, there are photos where, you know, there's nobody on the beach. We were topless. We were
G-string, like
G-string topless because, you know, Bali, everybody was topless.
everybody was relaxed.
Everybody was relaxed. We all came from all kinds of different directions.
From different countries,
From
different
different
cultures.
countries, different cultures, different connect. And, you know, somehow every afternoon we would meet on the beach.
And where were living the Boulets those days? They were living around Ubud, Canggu, Sanur, more Sanur, yeah?
Canggu was like, I mean, I don't know, it was really far. You wouldn't even talk about Canggu.
Okay, Sanur was the place?
No, that was where the old Dutch fat tourists were.
Okay.
You know, it was really here in the beginning, Kuta was
The place.
but that was where the surfers were. Because the surfers, I think they came even before that.
Yeah, they came in the
Yeah,
70s,
yeah, yeah.
Australians and New Zealand.
Yeah. But then, you know, it was all in front of 66,
Okay.
which in Legian, you know, there were some places like there were places where we could live, have lodgements, and
Okay.
right at the beach. So we were seeing each other every afternoon, more or less, at this beach. So we kind of knew each other.
So Anita was there as well.
Anita
So
was
Anita is
there.
your friend, just to situate the listeners and the viewers. She was here those days as well, yeah? So we are talking the 80s,
Yeah,
beginning of the 80s.
beginning, middle, yeah.
Wow.
So you end up in Bali here, and then you start your own business.
Well, you know,
Or-
you know, like we were all kind of wild and excited, so we ended up partnering up.
So you start to find boyfriend, girlfriend.
Yeah. So, you know, I found my now ex-husband,
Yes.
and he was living right in that area too. And yeah, talking about money, you had to make some money. He was already having a clothing company to America, and I started to get busy in it and doing designs and all of that. And you know, I guess it's not even a personal thing, but you know, most of us got quite successful pretty fast in those days.
Yeah, that's true, because I mean, I met several people coming from the same hippie background, and quite successful here in Bali.
Yeah,
And they
because
d-
we could do anything. You know, and the Balinese...
Creativity is-
Yeah, I mean, the Balinese, they were amazing. They were here, they were loving, they were supporting, and they were artists themselves, so that it was amazing, cool, you know, working
So they
and
match
creativity.
perfectly with your philosophy, the peace and love and freedom.
Yeah, exactly.
In a way.
Yeah, exactly.
If you can identify some
So,
aspect of your philosophy that you translate in your business that is different from the Western point of view.
well, you know, I always, when we did this work, I mean, we needed to make money, and then soon I got pregnant. I always thought it's for my kids. The universe actually provides for my children, and I did the best I could.
That moment you think about having, it's not the money itself, it's some sustainability, some safeness for the kids, yeah? It comes up, yeah? It's a need, it's normal.
Yeah, and you want to be creative.
Of course.
You know, you don't want to just sit around and, I don't know, and go...
Looking to the stars.
Yeah,
Just.
and, you know, it's great to be involved in life.
And textile business was beautiful those days? It was a nice experience?
That was our experience, but there were other people. There was one friend of mine, she opened a spa, the other, many did textiles and clothing. And like Milo, I mean, he was super creative. It was
Talk me about this guy, Milo. It's like, I heard that he's a character, yeah?
Oh my God, what a character.
Anita's laughing, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was very important in our lives.
Can you just, in a nutshell, not to extend too much, gives her a spark of this beautiful human, and so it's registered? What is that beautiful thing that you feel in your heart?
Oh, he was definitely sparkling. He had a diamond in his tooth.
He had a diamond. Wow.
So, you know, you see, there was characters here
Yeah.
doing all kinds of things.
So he was working in the diamond business, or?
No, he just had that sparkle that you were talking about. And then he actually was amazing because I think he worked for Fiorucci as a designer, and then he became so involved in this Indonesian situation. He started using beautiful silks and traditional batik. And combined this. Boy, I don't wear anything Milo right now today, but I mean,
He was a very elegant gentleman.
super elegant.
Yeah,
And you
yeah,
know the
that's
way,
great.
and you know the way he incorporated the local handicrafts with his batik
Yeah, I know.
into this incredible fashion was just amazing to see.
So he was creative but unique in the way he did it. Yeah?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So Milo is registered for time, for life. I know you spoke about him. He died not long time ago. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
like
passed
a
away.
year ago.
So we live his, your memories, your beautiful art connection with him. And how was the feeling of doing $1 million, man? What was the feeling from hippie to be millionaire? That's a story to tell.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing, you know. I mean, the production just exploded. It was a trip, you know. It was because it was like
Boom.
It was very, very fast that it went from, you know, small, you know, $200,000 a year kind of to $2 million and more. So
Wow. And this is 80 still.
yeah,
Wow, well, that's a lot of money, yeah?
yeah, and yeah, we were not the only ones. That was just, I mean, we would go to New York to the shows, and it was a bunch of us, you know, getting orders and showing
Wow.
our things. Yeah.
And at that time where you are so successful in your business, the life in the communal was feeling. Did you still think, you know, completely disappeared?
Or you are living in a villa in your community, your tribe, your family.
No, it was still tribal, because we were still all connected from those first days. And then, you know, we started having children. So then we had one of our friends, she brought a midwife to Bali, who came from Nimbin, Australia, like the hippie place.
Wow.
In fact, I knew them from Greece, where we met and thought we were going to take horses to follow the route of Alexander the Great. Some kind of mad idea.
You end up not doing that.
No, but we lived.
That's an amazing idea.
It's another crazy idea. Anyway, these people came to Bali, Mira and Tansen, and became midwives of us, helping us to have our children. So we were still connected, and we would do, especially with Mira, she was like a psychic, and she did tarot cards, and she was a bit of an older hippie.
But like a hippie. Why not Aboriginal?
No. She was from New Zealand.
New Zealand, Kiwi.
And she was, I think, 10 years older than me, or even more. I think she's in her 80s now, maybe even. So she's a really old hippie.
Okay.
And so she had all these techniques, and we did workshops together, and, you know, self-exploring kind of workshops. And yeah, it was still very tribal. Very.
I have a question regarding that. How was the tantric movement those days? What was going on with peace and love?
Well, we didn't call it tantra then.
Oh, that's a very fancy name. Yeah. To speak
Really?
about fucking, yeah. It is.
Yeah.
What was the feeling about the peace and love? Because that's the movement. Because the reality is, like Lama Gurme says often, and some teachers, it's about being aware of whatever you do, being in the moment, yeah, not just having an experience and gone. How was those days people relating with that specific part of the human relationship?
Maybe you should ask somebody else.
Not you, okay.
You know, I think maybe we should ask somebody else in the audience.
So you should, with Anita?
Maybe.
So you are going to come to the interview one of these days. That's a beautiful story to tell. Yeah?
You know, because I was married and I had this.
You are focused on your marriage.
I felt free because I'm in a marriage and I don't have to chase anybody. That was my freedom at that time, or one part of my freedoms.
So Marco, I'm going to ask one thing related with spirituality. Do you want to ask something else?
No, go on with
Yes,
the
I was.
spirituality.
I was feeling that, and then we spoke about this before the interview. You did the whole circle, yeah, on the search of happiness, because that's what you want. The freedom is happiness. Yeah,
Yes.
you want to be happy. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So you go always, and life provides you everything. It provides martial arts, connection, boyfriends, experience, traveling, beautiful landscapes, yeah,
Beautiful children,
children, and you get married. Then
And-
you have money and you
incredible
do business.
friends, great connections.
Do you think Bali is like an island of the gods? When they say island of the gods, there's something like bliss here? Like you felt that in your life?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Bali is the island of gods, and Bali is like such a mother, you know, on many levels. You know, this is such a abundant place. But apart from being an abundant place, it is also a Hindu island. And
Yes.
that is what is the beauty, and that is why I want to live here, and that's what keeps me here, you know, because these people are special. You know, I don't know anything about religion really to tell you. I mean, but maybe it's their prayers that keeps the world together. I don't know. It could be.
It could be because they really pray every day so
I
many
know.
times.
You know, sometimes I'm in traffic jam and I'm a little bit like, eh.
And they are doing it, yeah.
And I see a woman on the side of the road and she's praying. What a beautiful place. You know, always to be brought back to that, you know, you call it freedom, you call it happiness, I call it love,
Love is pure, yeah.
you know? Yeah.
It's beautiful.
And what about you? Are you praying sometime? Not the Balinese prayer, or I mean any kind of prayer.
Yeah.
Do you take some time during your daily routine to?
Well, I also use the Balinese prayers. I mean, I have the little bantans. I use, when I have a house, I build a temple. I have a priest come and do the right
So
rituals.
You follow for sure all the tradition, the Balinese tradition, anything you do it, yeah?
You know, I don't follow any
No,
tradition.
no, but at least
She's free.
you call
You-
people for blessing, or if there
Yeah.
is the temple, if you have
Yeah.
to be in touch with your neighbor.
I go to the high priestess and I kiss her feet and I'm totally happy.
Yeah,
Bello.
you feel the connection. Just to make the connection between Hindu vibe and India, the mother, the source, yeah? You agree, yeah? You have some special connection with the Guru there, something that really brings you some awareness, some deepness in your practice?
Well, that's what actually happened to our tribe here in Bali. That, you know, we were exploring our inner worlds together. And we were very connected in that. And then one of our friends, Mira and Tansen, the midwife, and her
Yes.
husband, they went to India and they met this guru. And they came back with eyes like that.
Yes.
So then many of us went, oh my God, if they have these eyes,
We want to have the
we
same.
have to go, you know.
The search for the big eyes.
Yeah, so then, you know, I went to see Papaji
Whoa.
in Lucknow. And I was pregnant with my last son. And I was starting to bleed. while I was pregnant, the very beginning of the pregnancy, and I asked somebody, well, if I go to the guru, if I stay here, what should I do to not lose the baby? And they said 50-50, you can lose the baby or you can...
Yeah, it's your choice.
So then I said, okay, I'm gonna go to the guru.
Guru.
And that was, I think, such a graceful decision because, the first question I asked him, which, I feel actually was rude, I just said, show me freedom now.
It's not like you, never, yeah? You are so soft, usually.
Freedom.
You are never so direct. But we love you like that. That's the way you are, it's so cool, there's nothing wrong. And then, what was back from...
I went to India several times, like twice a year.
And the baby, you didn't lost it, yeah?
I never lost that
Yeah,
baby.
that
He's 27 years now. And and Papaji is, he left his body, but he's definitely in my heart. And he showed me definitely freedom. And
The real one, yeah? The inner freedom, yeah?
the freedom that is not freedom from,
Yes, it's inside.
but that is freedom. There's the freedom.
No conditionings.
No conditioning. And and it takes a long time to keep going back to that place because the levels of identification with our stories, they are harsh and they are intense. And I remember one time I went to him and I wrote him all my story, abused by my father, blah 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 blah, the husband, and he read the letter and then he just looked at me. He looked through me. He just looked through me. He said, Indra? Who? Indra? Where? And it was so beautiful because I could see there was...
It's just stories.
It's just stories.
That's
it's just
interesting.
stories. It's
amazing.
just one veil after another. It's not that I'm, every moment I feel like this bliss of freedom, but,
But you understand it.
No.
But you feel it.
I don't understand nothing.
But you feel that momentum of inner joy.
Yes. And I feel that more and more, I feel that space opening up more and more, giving me, quite contentment. I don't have to chase it. I don't have to run. I'm a traveler, I'm a nomad, I'm a runner. I've been to many holy places. But, more and more I enjoy to just be inside my own holy place.
And you are happy that way.
Yeah.
So you did all this parkour and going back to the inner egg inside. Can you tell us something about your last experience, just to finish, about the Java temples you have been? Because I see you coming from there with these
The Java Silat.
big eyes, and I say, oh, I want to go there. No, not Silat. It's a monastery, yeah?
No, Java and Sumatra, they were called the Golden Islands. And Atisha, who was the reformer of Buddhism in Tibet in the year 1020, and he died in Tibet, he came to Indonesia to study kindness and compassion with this master called Dharma Kirti. And I've seen these ruins, tantric temples and caves, meditation caves. I met priests and these Kajawan priests that are still living the old tradition that is pre-Java.
Wow.
Pre-Muslim. It's just the original Java life. It was a huge Hindu kingdom. And
It's like you discover something new that
I wasn't aware of living in Bali, in the Bali bubble. And so, with the pandemic, I thought, I don't want to be in Java, it's Muslim. Man, it's so beautiful. There's sacred sites all over, there's old temples, it's very much alive. And to see the connection, it's again, like you say, coming around.
you go back to the source.
You
again.
get back to here I went, to Kailash.
You have been in Kailash Mountain. Whoa.
Anita and I, we were there together.
Kailash. Okay.
Yeah, I was in the source of the Ganges, all these places, and here we have it too.
in Bali, you feel it,
In
yeah.
Indonesia,
In
we
Indonesia, you have a lot of.
a lot of these strong places because the sacred places, there is something in nature, and then people put their temples on, or maybe they just meditated there and then put their temples on. Those places are strong, and and Java's full of them.
I just want to say that we are going to do a movie night with once this semi-lockdown starts to relax. Yeah, we were supposed to do it today.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we need to respect public health and our beautiful guests. But you are going to do it. It's about Milarepa, exactly the story. That's why I was trying to connect and finishing with this. And I'm very glad that you accept the challenge of doing the podcast.
Thanks for the challenge.
And you are
yeah.
amazing, a unique story. I'm so glad that I challenged you.
Thank you very
It's just
much.
amazing. Thank you to everybody here. Thank you.
If you are looking for more information, we're gonna leave some of the info in the link
Yes.
at the bottom of the video, and click the like button.
Thank you, Marco Lastrucci,
Thank you,
for your
Indra.
amazing.
Astrucci, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and thank you
Thank
for the freedom.
For the freedom.